So, but at this point, you had a little bit of an interest in computers.
Computers, yes. So at the time, I knew I wanted to go into web development at the time. And the backstory to that is interesting. And I don't remember the article, but during my junior high school days, when I was going to the internet cafes and all of that, my elder brothers, I think 2 of them did programming. So in the house, they had computers, and when they were programming, I would sit next to them. They were writing .NET, C# or .NET, one of them, those days, Visual Basic and all of that stuff. I look at them writing the code, sit there, just be staring at the screen. I mean, waiting for them to finish so that I'll play games. But it got me interested in like what they are doing. And I remember they had visuals. I'm trying to remember the name. They had a kind of an IDE. It's like what we have Android Studio, but at the time it was
not Dreamweaver.
No, it wasn't Dreamweaver. Was for the web. It was Visual Studio along those lines, way back. And so they would create the code, see it in the visual part, move the buttons and all of that. And I would so I got interest in that. But at the time, I didn't feel like doing what they were doing. So one of my moments of going to the cafe, I was like, what can I do? And I started reading. And this was someone trying to find what is next, but not knowing how to even find what is next.
So, but before we even continue, how is it strange for a Ghanaian child to be preoccupied with the question of what is next?
And it's weird. Like looking back, I don't know how or why, but at a point in time, I found myself reading along the lines of, my brothers are building desktops, desktop apps, but what is going to be the next thing? So it was me reading around, and then I came across an article talking about web apps. So I read it, and I was like, web apps. And the article was, if I remember correctly, was along the lines of these maybe sensational articles where they will be like, this framework is dead, this is next. So it was along the lines of desktop apps are dead, web apps are the next thing, the internet, like browser-based stuff. And that was an interesting thing for me because I was like, I didn't want to do what they're doing. So I started like looking into web applications, and that's where my interest of trying to do things, trying to build what my brothers are doing, but let it work in the browser. That was along the lines of the thought process. And me talking about it now, at the time, it was just blank, like gibberish, just trying to understand something from nothing at the time. So that's how come I got interested in web. And my interest in web was I am interested in web without even knowing what I'm interested in. But I knew, based on what the article was saying, there's going to be web applications that would run in the browser. I'm defining it with web application terms because I understand it now. But at the time, it was my brothers are building it to install on the computer, but this one can run in the browser and do the same thing, but on every computer. So it's not operating system specific. It was along the lines of that.
So did you understand operating systems at that time?
I did not. I didn't. You see, and that's the interesting thing. I can't remember that article, and I don't know how to even. I do not know, but that was something that triggered my interest in web applications specifically. Because I knew for a fact that I wasn't interested in what my brothers were doing.
You wanted
something that was going to be next. And so I was looking for learning something that would be useful by the time I am good at like what I'm doing.
So then what was your first step in pursuing this idea of?
So I started with, at the time, what I found was to learn HTML and CSS.
So, but what did you do? Did you go to a website to learn HTML? You found a book?
W3 Schools.
Okay.
I don't know if you know.
I forget you're a baby.
Yes.
I forget you're a baby. So this was like after 2000.
No, after so 2000. Yes, this was in 2004-5.
You're a baby.
Because we came to Koforidua in 2004.
Okay.
Yes.
2004, I was going to college.
Yes. Wow. So at the time, early days, like so. It was.
By then, the internet had really taken off. Yes.
It was coming, and that was the Yahoo time where cafes, chat rooms, and all those.
By then, even Gmail existed. By then,
Gmail was in 2005, I think so.
Okay. 2004, maybe 2005.
Right? Yeah, and Chrome came 2008.
Okay.
So,
but it was just right on the cusp.
Just at the early, but by then Yahoo was the OG.
Yeah.
Yahoo, and then this one.
Hotmail.
AOL.
Yes. AOL was one of the earliest.
Yes, American Online.
See if I got my I thought I got my Yahoo.
Mine was live.
Live, okay.
I got the live.
Yeah, baby, yes.
I got the live before they changed it to Outlook.
Okay.
But before the live, there was Hotmail.
It was Hotmail, then
yes,
became live, then became Outlook.
When I created my account, I had the option to choose Hotmail or live. I liked the live.
Yeah.
And I'm glad today that I had the live because the live sounded nicer than the Hotmail and the other one.
Yeah.
So it was at that point in time where it's like today, how AI is at a step where the direction is not...
It's not clear, but you have to be...
You don't know where it's going to go. But at the time, what I knew for certain, based on the article I read, and in quote, the research, like gibberish reading around, was there's going to be web stuff. So I was like, okay, then where do I start from?
So, I mean, let's just take a step back. I don't want us to rush because you talked about basic school where you were first, second, third. So obviously you were a good student.
In basic school, I was good.
Yes.
The typical academic good.
Yeah.
Normal stuff. But when that web applications interest peaked, and that was in junior high school, first year, second year, I frequented the internet, would do readings. I know at the time people were doing Yahoo and stuff, but I was just fascinated by reading about the internet and how it works.
So you were driven by curiosity.
How the web pages were even, why am I even able to do things on? Because when I go to Google and I click, in my mind, it's like what my brother was doing, but this one is running in the browser. Okay. So I was like, okay, I don't want that. I want this. Okay. How they're doing it. And that's how come like the...
Because what I'm trying to understand, and I know you obviously a little bit, one of the things that stands out about you is your love for exploration.
Yes.
Right? And so I'm trying to see if there is any parallel between growing up in Tamale and having the free reign and the Taset compound to going to Nsawam and then intellectually being able to roam the internet, right? Because that's what's happening at that point where you know what your brothers are doing, you want to do more, and you have to have that curiosity to explore until you discover.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know where the curiosity comes from. I think I've just been interested in looking into things and just trying to understand things around me. So I like to, and how I do not know, but maybe my exposure to computers at the early age, and because I remember I would ask my brothers a lot of questions. And this was me asking questions I do not even understand.
And would they answer all the time?
They would. They would. And maybe I would be a nuisance, but I'm just curious. And some of the things they were explaining, I don't think they understood and I did not understand, but...
So then, I mean, for me, I think your curiosity and having older siblings who would explain things to you allowed you to think outside the box. But how did that translate to school, especially as you were getting to junior high? Were you asking teachers questions and they would tell you to keep quiet?
Oh, yes. No. I like, it wasn't like that. Okay. I think I wouldn't say I had bad teachers. Okay. Like my school, I don't remember having like bad experiences in school.